And there they are in the brand new walking ring and saddling enclosure, the horses for the Derby. It's almost time.
Dave Johnson, some particulars and some strategy now with 17 horses, each carrying 126 pounds, each going 1.25 miles. Long straightaway, as Bill Shoemaker, of course, knows all too well. How do you see this race being run, particularly at the outset, Dave?
Al, first of all, we all have the same information in front of us, the same data, the past performances. What we mix in is a little bit of ourselves, and that becomes the handicapping. Here's the way I look at it. There are two definite speedballs in here. Capote, the only way that he'll win is to go out there and never look back. And Masterful Advocate, who proved he was on top of his game with a quick workout on Thursday. Now, from the middle layer of horses, we have Demons Be Gone. He's drawn well. He has enough speed to get the tactical advantage. Crypto Clearance, unfortunately, who drew the rail, is going to have to drop back. The fun part of the race is going to be to watch the stretch drive for the first time. See what Cardero does. He's on Capote. See if he goes out there in a suicide pace against Masterful Advocate and Lafitte Pincay Jr. So it'll be an interesting first quarter mile. Everything in the rest of the race might depend on that.
Here's the favorite at 2-1 now. People disparage him, say that he was in Arkansas, hasn't beaten anybody. How good is this horse in your estimation?
Well, he's very good, but he'll have to make a believer out of me. Good news and bad news. The bad news is that everything from Oaklawn has come up here from their big stakes races and been beaten. The good news is that Pat Day, who could have taken his pick of 8 horses in here, has decided to ride Demons Be Gone.
And Pat Day has already won 3 races today. Speaking of jockeys, Candy's Gold is ridden by Sandy Hawley, and that's some story.
He has had a tough year. 6 months after his 5,000th career victory, doctors told him he had a melanoma on his back. He battled the cancer, had 2 surgeries, 32 lymph glands removed. He deserves the blanket of roses himself.
I've heard some insiders, some people who know a lot about horse racing, whispering the name of Chocolate One, number 8, but he's 45-1. Why are they whispering this?
They shouldn't be whispering. They should be shouting this value. He was 2nd in the Gotham and 3rd in the Wood Memorial, closing strongly in both. Don't be surprised to see those bright blue blinkers flying through the stretch with young jockey Richard Migliori aboard.
Then there's War, part of the Lucas entry. Racetrack Lore has him named after owner Tom Gentry's divorce suit.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know that he's a powerful part of the Lucas entry, and Herb McCauley, who is celebrating his 30th birthday this afternoon, would certainly like to be aboard at the finish.
Then there's Bet Twice, who looked so good until his last outing.
Yeah, that was a big question mark. He was odds on in the Florida Derby. Trainer Jimmy Kroll told me he thought he'd gallop that day. Craig Perrette thought he would too, but he didn't fire. His ears were back. He just wasn't himself. The next day he was, though, and he's trained real nice for the day's race.
And a great story. Masterful Advocate, Joe Manzi, the trainer, bid $4,500 for him. Somebody bid $5,000. Manzi waved the auctioneer off. The auctioneer said $5,500. Manzi said, no, no, no. Then he went out and he looked at the horse and he said, I guess I'll pay $5,500. Sold half to Dave Leviton, and right now he has a good chance. I think he's one of the horses to beat today. Leo Castelli is another horse getting good backing as part of an entry.
Interesting story about the name. Peter Brandt, international art collector, is the owner, and he asked his friend Leo Castelli, a gallery owner in New York, if he could name one after him. The owner obliged, and here is Leo Castelli, the horse, running for Peter Brandt and Leroy Jolley.
Very shortly, they'll be coming onto the track for the Kentucky Derby.
Castelli, the colt who is named after the 79-year-old art dealer who started, among others, the late Andy Warhol on his career. This horse might very well have won the Bluegrass had he not been bothered 9 days ago, Charlie.
He had a very rough trip and frankly was lucky not to fall. He bobbled badly when he was bumped by Ali Sheba, but he recovered well, and Leroy said he has none the worse for the wear today.
And here we have Gulch, his stablemate, who's been acting up a bit down there. First, we had a report that he had a problem with his girth. Maybe it was just getting him on, and he's full of himself.
He was. In fact, when he came down in front of these stands, and of course, there's no way you can ever simulate what happens here on Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby Day. Gulch was on his toes and feeling a little bit of the excitement of the crowd, but these horses have no reason to understand why this day is any different than any other race day. They don't understand all this excitement.
Last October the 18th, after the Maryland Million, when he won the feature race, trainer Jack Van Berg said to me, Jim, I'm going to win that $5 million bonus next year. I said, with what? He said, with Ali Sheba, and he's still saying it.
I talked to him just a few moments ago in the stable area. He is very confident. He said this colt is at his best and will be there today.
Okay, that's Ali Sheba, currently being held at odds of 6-1. Let's have a look here at Crypto Clearance, the impressive winner of the Florida Derby. Considerable support for him here.
Well, he's got the most popular post position, #1. He's got a very popular rider and the very hot Jose Santos. Hasn't got the most popular physique. Even his own trainer says he's a little on the slight side, but he's big of heart. He gets down, he's gritty, and he tries hard. He fights to the bitter end, and he will be there close at the finish.
He's being held at 6-1 right now. And here is Conquistadors. As it had originally been thought that unless it rained and was muddy and messy out there, that he wouldn't run, but trainer Woody Stevens changed his mind.
Well, you see, there's the key right around his head there, that set of blinkers. Woody put blinkers on him this week for the first time, and he snapped off a couple of fast works, and Woody said, why not? I'll go for it. I'm telling him. And the other horse was scratched today. He just decided to go right ahead.
I have to tell you, that Chocolate One at 45-1 is some overlay. But their riders up now. They're headed for the track for the Kentucky Derby. You know, night before last, I asked Bill Shoemaker. I said, Bill, be honest about it. When you got on the track for the Derby, are you even aware of the crowd? Do you even hear My Old Kentucky Home? He said, Jim, it doesn't matter how many times you ride in that race, and this is his 25th. He said every single time when they play that song, it tugs at your heartstrings. There is Sandy Hawley being put up on Candy's Gold. Sandy, back from a serious cancer operation. So many stories in every Kentucky Derby.
And this colt himself is an interesting story. This is only his 6th lifetime start. He's never won a stakes race, but Eddie Gregson came here once before, and he's batting 1,000%. He won this race with Gato del Sol, and he says he can't tell why, he can't put his finger on it, but he feels good about Candy's Gold's chance.
Trained by Eddie Gregson, who sent out Gato del Sol to win the Kentucky Derby. The call to the post by perhaps the best bugler in the business, a young woman named Karen Easterday. Under the twin spires, they're coming out for the Derby. Remember what Bill Shoemaker said, no matter who you are or how long you've been coming, it tugs at your heartstrings. We're going to show you the words this time for the first time so that you can sing along, whether you're by yourself or at a party, wherever you may be. It's everybody's song now. The post parade. #1 in the 3-horse entry of Wayne Lucas is War. The winner on the disqualification of the Bluegrass Stakes. #1A, the horse who must prove himself today. Capote, the 2-year-old champion who has looked very bad his last 2 outings in New York. #1X, the 3rd horse in this entry. On the line, he won the Derby trial last week and was suddenly put into the Derby. #2, the first half of the Leroy Jolly entry, is Gulch, winner of the Wood Memorial, at the peak of his game, and Bill Shoemaker is aboard. 2B, other half of the entry, Leo Castelli with Jacinto Vizquez, who twice before has won the Kentucky Derby for trainer Leroy Jolly. Number 3, the winner of the Florida Derby. This is Crypto Clearance. Phil Tynowitz, the owner, in the game for 25 years, and now he's got his shot. Jose Santos, perhaps the best rider in the country at the moment, is aboard him. Ali Sheba, number 4, with the confidence of trainer Jack Van Berg and the skill of jockey Chris McCarron, who's never won the Derby. Number 5, from the West Coast, didn't look too good in the Santa Anita Derby, but before that he tore him up. This is the $5,500 sensation, Masterful Advocate, with Lafitte Pinkai Jr. Number 6 is Demons Begone, the favorite in the race, out of Arkansas. Ridden by Pat Day, who's won everything at Churchill Downs and many times, but he's never won the Derby. Number 7, from California comes Candy's Gold, trained by Stanford graduate, somewhat intellectual Eddie Gregson, ridden by Sandy Hawley, the comeback kid. Number 8, an overlay at 45 to 1, if we've ever seen one, is Chocolate, one Edward Anchel's horse, ridden by Richard Migliori. Number 9 is Bet Twice, Bob Levy's horse, actually in the name of his mother, Blanche P. Levy, ridden by Jersey's Craig Perrette. Number 10 is Conquistadors. Remember, didn't expect to run today on the dry surface, but he is. Jerry Bailey aboard. Number 11, very impressive in Florida, second in the Florida Derby, looked bad last week in the Derby trial. No More Flowers, Walter Guerra. Then the field horses. Number 12, out of Maryland comes Templar Hill, son of Temperance Hill, owned by the Kowitz brothers. There's 4 of them altogether. Greg Hutton aboard. Number 13, Momentous, the unbelievable story of the horse who crashed into the 8th pole and now runs in the Derby with Don Brumfield, a Kentucky veteran. Number 14, rounding out the field, Avies Copy, who may well set the pace in this race, ridden by Mickey Solomon. That, then, is the field for the 113th running of the Kentucky Derby. With me again, Charles E. Canty. Charles E., it's about as close to the race as we can get. How do you see it?
Well, Jim, for the first time, I think we've got one of any 12 horses could win this race and not be considered an upset. I think the race is going to go to the rider who's able to make the most of the traffic situation, not lose ground, and keep his horse out of trouble.
Okay, well, you wouldn't give us a pick last week. Last chance.
All right, I think I'm going to have to go with the favorite, Demons Begone. He's had 3 easy races. There have been brilliant performances, taken nothing out of him. He's got the tactical speed to stay out of trouble. He's got the rider in Pat Day, the master of Churchill Down, who wants this Kentucky Derby. This may be his day.
We'll be back.
It's a big field. It really is a tough race to call because there'll be a lot of movement early, and I want to get through the whole field at least one time. I memorize the horses by a picture association. For instance, War. When I see War, I'm looking at 2 armies fighting each other. They're not wearing Confederate and Unions. They're wearing blue and yellow blocks. It sounds crazy to you, but it got me through my college exam and has paid my rent for 24 years. While they were singing, while you were singing at home, I did some markings on my program. It's an insurance policy, so I'll sneak a peek during the race to make sure that the horse I'm calling is the horse in front. Al?
A regular Picasso. You'll do a great job, I'm sure, Dave. Let's take a look now at the odds. No real surprises, and the odds are very similar to the way they were an hour ago, so there have been no patterns to speak of in terms of any changes in the odds, any real late money to speak of at Churchill Downs. The 3-horse Wayne Lukas entry, War, the 2-year-old Champ Capote, and On the Line is 6 to 1. Then the Jolly entry, Gulch and Leo Castelli at 9 to 2. Crypto Clearance has been and still is 6 to 1. Then comes Ali Sheba, who's made a career of finishing 2nd and 3rd at 8 to 1. Masterful Advocate, good backing at 6 to 1. Demons Begone, when we came on the air, was 5 to 2, but is being held now at 2 to 1. Candy's Goal 45 to 1. As Jim McKay put it, a great overlay. Chocolate won at 45 to 1. Bet Twice, not a bad bet at 10 to 1 if he runs back to prior form. Conquistadors at 50 to 1. No More Flowers at 50 to 1. And then the 3-horse field at 24 to 1. Now, your favorite horse, you want to know where he's breaking from. Here it is, another look now at post positions. That's the rail at the top of your screen. Crypto Clearance comes out of there, as did Ferdinand last year. War, number 2. 3rd is Ali Sheba. Hole number 4, Templar Hill. Look for Capote to get out quickly from 5. Gulch 6, and Masterful Advocate to come out quickly from 7. Out of hole number 8, Leo Castelli. Then On the Line out of number 9. The favorite Demons Begone comes out of the 10 spot. Momentous 11, Candy's Gold 12. Chocolate 1, 13, and Bet Twice 14. And from the auxiliary gate, Conquistadors, Avies Copy, and No More Flowers. The field and the post positions, and now back down to Jim McKay.
Kind of an interesting sidelight, Al, that the pony rider for the favorite for Demons Be Gone had not planned to be here. Her name is Marianne Wilson. She was the pony rider out in Arkansas for his 3 great victories. But when Pat Day, the jockey, heard that she wasn't planning to come for various personal reasons, he said, Marianne, you got to be there. You're the good luck person, and you fit this horse, and you settle us down before the race. So Marianne Wilson is on the track at the Kentucky Derby, a story on every horse. No secret down here in Kentucky, for example, that Tom Gentry, the owner of War, has had tremendous problems the last year and a half, a difficult divorce, financial problems, and suddenly he up pops with a horse that wins the Bluegrass on a disqualification and is in the Kentucky Derby. And Capote, we said, trying to prove himself. And Wayne Lucas, my goodness, he's made a crusade out of this, Charlesy, but he hasn't done it yet.
He's had 9 tries, 9 different horses in a number of different years, 3 entries here today. Certainly the Derby is the one thing he said, it's the one plum. He's had everything else in racing. He breaks his own records every year, but this is the one he wants.
Okay, it's almost time now for sure. So on this beautiful, hot, summery day at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, let's go back up on top to Dave Johnson for the call of the race. Dave, have a good one.
What a beautiful day. What a great sight as 17 3-year-olds come to the starting gate for the Churchill Downs premier attraction, the Kentucky Derby. The starter is Tom Wagoner. He'll be sending them on their way in the run for the Roses for the 14th time.
On the inside. I want 2 or 3 people on the inside of him now.
When my friends come to the track, I always tell them 1 race go to the paddock, see that ceremony, and 1 race get as close as you can to the starting gate to watch and listen to the horses as they load. And let's do that right now for the Kentucky Derby.
Work on the inside of him. Move his front feet a little bit, Ron, and don't mess with him. All right, that's good. Leave him sit.
They're all 3-year-olds. They all carry 126 pounds.
Gary, you stay in there? Gary, use your lead up.
That's Pin Kai.
On
the line, giving him a bit of trouble. There's the favorite, Demons Be Gone, with Pat Day, who's already won 3 races on the card.
Let him set there for it. It'll be all right there.
This is a long time for Crypto Clearance, the #1 horse in post position order, to be standing there. But he is a now horse and a now rider. Jose Santos rides him. Bet twice. 14 are in. Now to the auxiliary gate. Capote along the inside is second, and on the outside, that's Candy's Gold Racing third. In the middle of the track, No More Flowers up fourth. Bet Twice is fifth. Masterful Advocate from between horses sixth. There goes Leo Castelli bullying his way between horses seventh. Masterful Advocate, in fact, almost went out. War is in trouble on the inside around the first turn. Capote leads it by a length. Stablemate on the line into second position by 2. Candy's Gold on the outside, third by a head. Along the inside, that's Leo Castelli with Jacinto Vasquez in the irons in fourth position. War regaining on the inside now fifth. Bet Twice is sixth. Masterful Advocate is seventh. No More Flowers on the outside is racing eighth. Templar Hill moving through along the inside ninth. Chocolate One is 10th. No More Flowers back to 11th. After that, it's Ali Sheba, Momentous, Crypto Clearance. Between horses, Gulch is far back. On the outside, Conquista Rose is 16th. And the favorite, Demons Be Gone, is 17th and last. He's pulling up around the far turn. On the inside, it's on the line, but on the outside, there goes Bet Twice. Bet Twice to the front, way ahead with Craig Perret aboard. On the inside, that's on the line with Gary Stevens hanging tough as they turn for home, a quarter of a mile to go. Bet Twice taking the lead by 1. On the outside, here comes Ali Sheba. On the line, dropping out of it. Middle of the racetrack, Crypto Clearance with Jose Santos is flying. Leo Castelli between horses. And down the stretch they come. Bet Twice on the inside, leads it by a head. On the outside, here comes Ali Sheba. Ali Sheba with Chris McCarron to the front. Bet Twice back to second. Here's the finish. Ali Sheba wins it by 3 parts of a length. On the inside, Bet Twice finishing second. Avies Copy with Mickey Solomoni, part of the neutral field, finishing third. That's the unofficial finish. Jack Van Berg was right. Ali Sheba did get his confidence back. The mile and a quarter in 2 minutes 3 2/5 seconds. There was a lot of trouble around the first turn, and the favorite, Demons Be Gone, pulled up.
Well, it won't be Pat, it'll be Chris.
Chris McCarron, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he broke down.
Who is that? There's Demons Be Gone. Demons Be Gone being put in the track ambulance, the favorite for the Kentucky Derby. That's a sad story. Let's see what happened, if we can. Demons Be Gone, the favorite in the Derby.
This is going down the backstretch here. Here is Demons Be Gone.
Number
He was
6.
Far back early on. And as he proceeds down the backside, he evidently will take some bad steps. There he is, starting to pull himself up there.
There have,
Easing
Charlesy,
back.
been those who said that those front leg bandages must mean that they know there's some weakness
That
there.
made him suspect. It did indeed, and here you see him shortening stride ever so much. It does not look to be too severe. He did walk into the ambulance of his own accord, and we hope certainly that it is not terribly serious.
Chris McCarron, can you hear me?
Thank you.
This is Jim McKay. Chris, congratulations. You couldn't be a more worthy winner.
Tell him about what you have. Yeah.
All right, well, I don't know. I got it squeezed a little bit going by the stands the first time, and I got a little further back than I wanted to be, but he ate up horses down the backside real well. And thanks, Judy.
Chris, you had an unbelievable ride through the stretch. You clipped heels, actually, with Bet Twice, did you not?
Flipping heel.
Let's move him, Jess. The horse in the lead, Bet Twice, stuck out right dead in front of me. And I clipped his heels, almost fell. This colt's a real competitor to get up on his feet again like that and go on and win the race.
It was a tremendously game effort by Ali Sheba. Congratulations, Chris McCarron.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay. Chris McCarron, who turned the world on its heels as a young rider in Maryland, went to California, coming off an injury, a broken leg, not very long ago either. Some people wondered if he was up to the grueling pace of a Derby.
All right, now, Jim, watch this replay. Now, there's Bet Twice. He's got the lead. Now, watch Ali Sheba. He makes a move up here. This is already, I believe, after the incident had happened. He had a very rough trip earlier in the stretch, but as Chris said, he pulls himself back together again very gamely and passes Bet Twice to give Chris McCarron and Jack Van Berg, both Hall of Famers, both their very first Kentucky Derby win.
Okay, the order of finish is still unofficial, but it is, as you see it right there. Okay, Avies Copy finishing a most surprising third. 2:03 and 2, not a particularly fast time for the Derby.
The winner, number 4, Ali Sheba, and what a trip. Last year we saw Ferdinand and the great job that Shoemaker did, and this year Chris McCarron puts his name right alongside the shoes, especially holding on down the stretch, clipping heels, and still able to right the horse and bring him from behind to overtake Bet Twice and win it. And we have him isolated coming out of the number 4 hole in blue and white.
Well, Al, this is the horse that we're going to watch the entire mile and a quarter. I might point out that this horse way over here on the left side of your screen, Masterful Advocate, did not have a good start. Really was off slowly and bumped around on the first turn and completely lost chance. Here is Chris McCarron in a beautiful ride with Ali Sheba, but watch the traffic problems right from the start.
And it was Capote who was able to get to the front early on, but he is squeezed in here, as he mentioned to Charlesy in the interview just following the race, but little did he know that this might be the least of his problems, because there was a lot more to come.
Here comes on the line with Gary Stevens taking command, and you can see that McCarron finds a little room at the ring.
And he settles his horse in a way, it almost reminds you to a certain degree of Shoemaker with Ferdinand last year, settling back on the rail, saving ground.
And just in front and to the right is Pat Day and the yellow cap aboard the favorite, Demons Be Gone. Around that turn, this is where all the fireworks really happen, with up front and with War almost going down with Herb McCauley. And here, Ali Sheba gets rolling with McCarron.
He gets rolling down the back straightaway as Capote begins to fade. And of course, at this point, just about at this point, Demons Be Gone pulled up, but Bet Twice got rolling as well, along with Ali Sheba as they head into the far turn.
Ali Sheba has just passed Momentous and is now gaining on the rest of the pack. Here's Chocolate 1, and on the outside, number 11, No More Flowers. McCarron is a master, though, at getting to be the right place at the right time. Finding that little bit of hole there along the inside rail around the first turn helped.
And here he comes on the outside, and this is a horse that was developing a reputation as a bridesmaid. He kept finishing second, he kept finishing third. He'd won only one race in 10 career starts, but look at this move.
Did you see McCarron pull a set of goggles down? One must have gotten a little dusty, so he went to a new pair. He's now passing Leo Castelli. This is the horse that had breathing problems, so they had an operation in the throat which allowed more air to get in. Jack Van Berg thought that before that operation, it would have affected him mentally. Boy, he was sure clear-headed today, but look at that, almost going down in the stretch and still recovering.
Incredible. Looking at it with a naked eye, I was sure he was going to go off the horse at that point, and not only that, he's able to right him and then come from behind and win it. One of the great rides.
Craig Perret, who's on the 9 horse, going to the stick. There goes Ali Sheba again in trouble.
And he's able to overtake him down the stretch and win it in a time of 2:03.2. And so Ali Sheba, who was ill last month, remember this was the horse that had to scratch from the Santa Anita Derby because he was ill, came back, ran in the Bluegrass, and was disqualified. He's had 2 rough trips in a row.
I'm sure a lot of you are thinking inquiry and disqualification, but let's remember that the horse who was bothered through the stretch eventually finished out front, and so of course there was no need for an inquiry or a disqualification.
And there it is, an isolated look at an unbelievable trip for Ali Sheba. And let's go now to Jack Whitaker, who's with Pat Day, who rode Demons Be Gone.
Pat, I know you're terribly disappointed. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, my horse bled is what happened, Jack. I don't know exactly when it occurred, but I know going into the first turn, my colt wasn't the same horse that he's been in Arkansas. We got bumped a little bit around the first turn, and when we headed up the backside, this colt had no run in him whatsoever. He was traveling fine, physically. I could find no reason at that time why he should just be giving it up. At the half-mile pole, I was sure there was something desperately wrong, so I went ahead and eased him. At that point, I could see the blood coming out of both nostrils.
Well, I was wise then that you did pull him up. Do you think he's going to be all right, or you have no idea at this point, I guess?
Well, it's hard to guess. He bled pretty severely, but they can put him on Lasix and cure the problem, I'm sure, over a period of time. And I know he's in good hands with Mr. Oswald, and Mr. Anthony will let him do what's the right thing for the horse. So
he wasn't on Lasix here. Has he bled before?
No, sir. I'm sure if he'd ever given any indication at any point in his career that he was a bleeder, that he had any tendency to bleed, he'd have been on Lasix today. But he's just been a clean individual. Never had any problems like that.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Thank you, Jack.